Hello again, everyone. In today's Shadow Spectre overview video, we will be talking about the additions to an older archetype, the vampires.
The first of the vampires that we would like to talk about is Vampire Sorcerer. It is a dark zombie effect monster, level 4 with 1500 attack and 1500 defense.
Its effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, you can add one dark vampire monster or one vampire spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You can normal summon one dark vampire monster this turn without tributing. This is one of the main support cards for the vampire archetype. Its effect to grab basically any vampire archetype card when destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard makes this deck very consistent. Its secondary effect, that is used in the graveyard by banishing it, allows for quick Xyz into a rank 5 by normal summoning Shadow Vampire and using Shadow Vampire's effect to special summon another level 5 zombie, likely Vampire Lord.
This card is very easily searched with Pyramid Turtle or Mystic Tomato, likely the former as it could also summon many of the other vampires. Using this card along with cards like Mizuki or Plague Spreader Zombie that also banish themselves after use, you might want to add a Burial from the Different Dimension just to allow for the reuse of its effect. Do note that its searching effect only activates when it's destroyed by an opponent's card, not your own. The second of the new vampires is Shadow Vampire. It is a dark zombie effect monster, level 5 with 2000 attack and 0 defense.
Its effect is, when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one dark vampire monster from your hand or deck, except Shadow Vampire. If you do, monsters you control other than that monster cannot declare an attack this turn. This card cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz summon, except for the Xyz summon of a dark monster.
This card is very limited in what it can Xyz summon with, as there are only 3 available monsters that can be summoned with only its effect. Those being Adrius, Keeper of the Armageddon, Shark Fortress, a very underrated choice, or the obvious vampire Bram the Adelritter. However, this card can summon any vampire, not just a level 5 vampire, so it can be used to easily get out of Vampire Sorcerer, Vampire Grace, or Vampire's Curse into play, as well as the obvious Vampire Lord. This card could also be used to quickly gather materials for number 53 Hard Earth, as Hard Earth is not an Xyz you would in most cases want to attack with.
The downside to Shadow Vampire is when its effect is used to special summon a vampire from your hand or deck, only that monster can attack. The meaning of this is important in that if you choose to Xyz summon, that Xyz monster will not be able to attack. Only the monster that was special summoned through Shadow Vampire's effect can attack the turn this effect is used.
Next is Vampire Grace. It is a dark zombie effect monster, level 6, with 2000 attack and 1200 defense.
Its effect is, when a level 5 or higher zombie type monster is special summoned to your side of the field by the effect of a zombie type monster, while this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 2,000 life points. Special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Vampire Grace once per turn. Once per turn, you can declare one type, monster, spell, or trap card. Your opponent sends one card of that type from their deck to the graveyard.
This card is the easiest way to pull off the destructive effect of Vampire Empire, as it doesn't require an attack to send an opponent's card from the deck to the graveyard. Her very high cost effect to special summon herself is likely not a common option, but getting out a Photon Strike Bouncer or a Constellar Ptolemy M7 could easily change the game and provide power independent of the field spell that vampires don't usually have.
A useful play in vampires is to normal summon Shadow Vampire using Vampire Sorcerer's effect. Then you can special summon Vampire's Curse with Shadow Vampire's effect, thus allowing you to special summon Vampire Grace with her own effect. After using its effect to make your opponent send a card from their deck to their graveyard, you can either attack your opponent or go into a rank 6 Xyz play.
Next is Vampire Killer. It is a dark warrior effect monster, level 4 with 1600 attack and 1600 defense.
At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a face-up dark monster, destroy that monster.
This card is great against common Xyz summons such as Black Ship of Corn, Maestro the Symphony Djinn, or Master Key Beetle, though the latter two can prevent their own destruction fairly easily.
Vampire Killer is a searchable vampire card with either Vampire Sorcerer or Vampire Shift's effect, and is a level 4 monster, so it can be normal summoned without tribute. This card is great if you were ever to face the mirror match fight against vampires, since it automatically destroys dark type monsters it battles. This card is also a great tech against Insectors, Evil Swarms, Prophecies, and the ever-annoying Dark Worlds.
Next we have Vampire Bram the Adelritter. It is a dark zombie Xyz, rank 5 with 2500 attack and 0 defense.
It requires 2 level 5 zombie type monsters to Xyz into. Its effect is, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon that target to your side of the field. You can only use this effect of Vampire Bram the Adulterator once per turn. If you do, monsters you control other than that monster cannot attack this turn. During the next standby phase, after this card on the field was destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from your graveyard and face up defense position.
This card is very easily summoned with Shadow Vampire and makes its drawback to using its effect a lot less harmful, as no other monster aside from the one summoned by Shadow Vampire would be able to attack, and Bram only allows the summoned monster to attack the turn it uses its effect. After this card is destroyed and revives itself, it could serve as an easy tribute for Vampire Dragon, as Vampire Dragon only gets its effect when tribute summoned, or any of the other vampires, but it could also be Chaos Xyz changed to Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger.
Vampire Bram the Adulterator is essentially an immortal monster, being that if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, it is special summoned to your side of the field in defense position during your next standby phase. It can continue to be special summoned onto your side of the field in defense position as long as cards like Macrocosmos, Dimensional Prison, DD Crow, and similar removal cards don't get rid of this ultimate vampire.
Next we have the field spell, Vampire Empire.
Its effect is, zombie-type monsters gain 500 attack during damage calculation only. Once per turn, when a card or cards is sent from your opponent's deck to the graveyard, target 1 card on the field. Send 1 dark vampire monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that target. Vampire Empire, in combination with Vampire Lord or Vampire Grace, used to make your opponent send cards from their deck to their graveyard, are a powerful combination that can be used to get rid of other troublesome cards on the field.
This card also functions well with non-vampire cards like Gravekeeper's Servant or number 104 Masquerade Magician Shining. This card also easily puts Vampire Graces or Vampire Sorcerers in the graveyard to utilize their in-graveyard effects. And finally, we have Vampire Shift, a normal trap card.
Its effect is, if your field spell card zone is unused and the only face-up monsters you control are zombie type, activate 1 Vampire Empire from your deck. Then you can special summon 1 dark vampire monster from your graveyard and face up defense position. You can only activate 1 Vampire Shift per turn.
This card is great when used during the battle phase, especially when you don't have a valid monster in the graveyard, as suddenly activating Vampire Empire will give your zombie monster required to activate this card an extra 500 attack, possibly changing the course of the battle. Remember that if you do summon a monster with Vampire Shift, a replay would occur, and they could decide to attack your new monster or not attack at all.
Vampire Shift can also be set as a bluff, or used when your opponent destroys your active Vampire Empire. Its effect to special summon a vampire monster from your deck helps with rank 5 or rank 6 Xyz plays, common in vampire decks. Hey ladies and gents, Spencer here. I just wanted to say feel free to leave a comment below at any time. We will always be looking to discuss anything about these cards with you, whether it be basic information, other combinations with these cards, or anything else you care to discuss. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.
You done, train? You done?
Choo choo!
Nope.